Next up on our list under buildings and cities is landfill methane. We already talked about landfills actually being a problem. We want to reduce waste, of course, by consumption, but also by recycling and composting and so on. But in the meantime, there is a way to recover methane from landfills and reduce their emission from landfills and use the methane for other purposes. The ranking of this solution is at number 58. 2.5 gigatons is estimated as reduced CO2 by 2050, and the net cost is at minus $1.8 billion, so that's a lifetime saving there, with net savings of $67.6 billion. So you have to get used to this idea of net savings and the investment itself being negative. Just looking at some numbers, obviously anthropogenic methane is a significant source now, and we have to remember methane is got a residence time of about a decade or 12 years, but its greenhouse warming potential is above 25 over a 100-year period. So that's 25 or more times more in terms of global warming potential compared to CO2. So we have seen the emissions already. We talked about rice, reducing methane from rice paddies, manure, enteric fermentation, the cattle, burning biomass, biofuel combustion, and here wastewater, of course, and here we are with solid waste, and of course coal mining and natural gas mining also produce methane. Here is a wellhead for methane capture at a landfill in Michigan. So the landfills can be designed with so-called wells where perforated pipes are put into the system with a cap, and that collects methane, goes into a gas header, a blower, and then there is a way to recover and then send it off to the grid with engine and electric generator to convert it into electricity. And looking at global waste composition, 44% is food and greens, which are easily composted to produce methane, and then you have others like glass, metal, paper, cardboard. Plastic unfortunately continues to be a large fraction and growing as well. So there is rubber, leather, and wood in the average composition of global waste in landfills. Sorry about that. I don't know why it does this to me. So this is where we were. Global treatment and disposal of waste in terms of percentage. There is composting, about a third, but most of it is not composted. Some of it is incinerated. There is controlled landfill, which is the attempt to recycle and remove before it gets into the landfill. There is other landfills, unspecified. There is recycling, sanitary landfill, so with landfill gas collection included, and so on. So there are some environmental friendly landfills already, but the bad news, of course, is that the waste generation is projected to continue to increase in terms of millions of tons per year. You can see the numbers here for Middle East and North Africa, which is generally referred to as MENA, Sub-Saharan Africa, we have talked about this before, Latin America and Caribbean, North America, South Asia, Europe, Central Asia, East Asia, and Pacific, which remains very high. So obviously they need environmental friendly landfills. By 2050 they're going to be already they are high, and they're going to be the highest by these estimates. Of course, one has to be careful with projections because game changers can come along, or people might just become behaviorally conscious, wake up and say this is not a good idea, and so on. Nonetheless, looking at the numbers of annual municipal waste generated per capita, I think this is from the 2014 or 15. No, this is from 2019 actually. So you can see that poorer countries are low on the scale, 0 to 0.49 kilograms per capita per day. But as the economies grow, they're getting worse, of course. And there are some that are greater than 1.5 kilograms per capita per day, the rich countries, which is not good news. And I don't know why Mongolia shows up here as being so high. Nonetheless, this solution of landfill methane recovery sits at the bottom of waste hierarchy. Landfill waste will decline as diets change, waste is reduced, and recycling and composting grow. That's the projection. What cannot or should not be combusted in waste-to-energy facilities will reach landfills as a last resort over time. These solutions will not be adopted globally overnight, so we assume landfill methane capture will continue to play a role. Combusting landfill methane for electricity production can result in emissions reductions equivalent to 2.5 gigatons of carbon dioxide. So methane is a good fuel, but it does produce carbon emissions, but instead of letting it escape into the atmosphere, if it's converted to electricity, then there is a net reduction in the carbon dioxide, because in the atmosphere methane gets converted, oxidized easily. It's a highly oxidizable gas, gets oxidized into carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. So main goal would be to reduce waste, reduce landfills, and by composting, recycling, and management. But in the meantime, at the bottom of the waste management, waste to energy solution, which is a regret solution, is landfill methane recovery.